down. Couldn't believe it until I stood up 10 toes behind Jesus.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on 10 Toes Behind Jesus podcast. My name is Britley, and you know what is not talked about enough that I'm going to talk about? And that is singleness in the kingdom of God, okay? I don't know if it's because like all of my friends are single or if it's just like my current feelings with singleness and how I've been feeling or what, but it's like the only thing I feel like I've been talking about and thinking about. It's like, wow, like we really out here just single, like, and the I think the problem with that is that everyone tells you the same thing, but they're not being honest about like the current feelings that's happening that is normal. Okay, I feel like I just said a whole lot. For example, we are human, okay? A human feeling like loneliness is a normal feeling. Like the same way you're happy, you're sad, like you're not going to tell somebody don't be sad, or you're not going to tell somebody don't be happy, don't be angry. Like you cannot tell somebody don't be lonely. Like no, don't do that, don't do that. And it's like that is a normal and common human feeling. And people always think that when you feel lonely, it's like, oh, you just need God. Like God will replace and fulfill your loneliness. And you can be with God, walking with God, and still feel lonely from whatever it is you need, like physically, if that makes sense. Like God is a spirit. God lives within us, those that are filled with the Holy Ghost. But God cannot physically like rub our shoulder, like pat our back. Well, no, we're not going to get too deep in that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like so normal to feel that. And so my prayers have changed from like, I'd be like, God, like take this loneliness away. Take these desires away that they used to always tell us, pray that. You don't want to pray that because you want the desire to be with someone, to be there. But I just have been praying for God to give me the strength and give me what I need to be able to endure like the season that I'm in, the feelings that I've been feeling, because a lot of these things are good. It's just it doesn't feel good. Like when a baby's born, I actually just saw a video on this, which is crazy. They do some kind of test to make the baby cry to show that the baby can feel. I think that's right. It's probably other reasons too. But it's like, oh my gosh, you're going to make this baby cry? Like, why would you do that? But it's necessary for them to do that because if the baby doesn't cry, that means that something is wrong. So you don't want to pray for God to take these things away. You just want to pray like, God, like, help me get through this. Help me endure it. Like, it's painful, but like ease some of the pain. Like, help me build up my strength, right, to go through it. But I made a video earlier talking about if you're Christian single, like at 25, people are like, hey, it's about time to get married. Like, why you not married? If you still single by 30, start getting that side eye, like, what are you waiting on? Like, what's the problem? If you pass 35, it's just an automatic, like, you're the problem. It's you. Clearly it's you. And it's like, I think that is so crazy, but that literally is just how it is. And so with that comes a lot of pressure. Like without like the world really not saying get married at all, but you in your 20s, it's like, don't get married, wait, wait a little bit, this and that. But then in the Christian world, it's like, yeah, you need to hurry up. And I understand why, obviously. But I feel like a lot of us Christian singles, it's like a untalked untalked about. Is that right? It's like it's a space where there's not a lot of dialogue there. And so I decided to make a podcast on it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. With all the pressure, it's so important not to make decisions due to being desperate, being frustrated, being impatient, rushing, because the person you marry, the person you decide to marry, that single-handedly is like the most important decision after giving your life to God. That is the second most important decision like you will make in your life. And someone once said, who you marry, it's not funny. Who you marry determines if you're going to heaven or hell. But it's so true though. It is so true. And like you can really get really deep into it to like I ain't gonna go there, but you can really get deep into that. But just on the surface level, it's like, this person can either continue and add and help you build and strengthen your relationship with God, start a family, build. What did they used to say back in the day? Like, I'm building, we're building. I don't know. They'd be like, I want to get married so I can build, so we can build together. Would they say kingdom? That was weird if it was kingdom, but I think they would say build a kingdom or something. But yeah, that person can either do that or they can tear down everything you've worked so hard for. And for me, I'm not saying I'm scared or fearful. I'm not those things. I'm just, what they say is strict around here. It's real strict. It is real strict around here because what you're not finna do is mess up what me and God got going on. Like that's when you not finna do that, because like I have worked very hard and I'm still working, obviously, because you never graduate in Christ, right? Always learning, always serving. And so it's like, dang. Now, mind you, it hasn't been that many years, but still, like, I value my relationship with God. We got to get to a point where we value our relationship with God the same way you value your relationship with your best friend, your relationship with your parents. Like, you not really going to let somebody outside just come in and, like, bust stuff up. Like, you're kind of protective in a sense. Like, hold on. It's not finna work like that. I just realized this mic was covering my face the whole time. It's okay. You kind of, as long as you can hear. Okay. I've been having mic problems anyway, but yeah, you're not just gonna come in and bust all this stuff up, because like we worked hard for this, especially if you had that friend like y'all done got into it a few times over the years. Like you finally feel like you at a place where the communication is good. You all, respect each other's boundaries, everything. And somebody come in and just try to like tear that down, your guard gonna be real, like way up. You gonna shut it down. But it's easy to do that when we are spiritually sharp, when we are strengthened, when we are feeling refreshed, renewed. But when we kind of weak, when we straggling along, when we're so lonely, when we, just desire a spouse, like when we this and that, those lines start to get a little blurry. Like, hold on, Well, they say them red flags start looking a little greenish. And it's like, we just can't allow ourselves to do that. So you just got to think, everything that I've worked for, do I want it? Do I want to throw it all away? Like, do I want it all torn down by someone? And for me, that has helped me, because now I'm at the point where, yes, I do get lonely. I do think that my relationship with God would get even stronger if I was married, because, well, from what married people say, they say marriage is like really hard and it really challenges you, and it shows you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shows you in a way that you never thought you could be shown yourself. Sorry. And so I really think that, marriage, and I think marriage is beneficial, like, to everybody. That I just always have, believed that, like, growing up, that was always the goal, like, to get married. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? And I always tell people that I see why God has allowed my life to go the way it has gone, because in college, like freshman, sophomore year, maybe even junior, honestly, I just remember because I was writing on the whiteboard. We were in the class, like just me and my teammates. But my only goal was to get married and have kids. And I was like, eventually I'll probably start a business or, like, do that. I definitely did not think I'd be doing anything ministry related. Probably I could see myself doing a podcast, but not about God, just being real. Did not see that. And I see myself having having a business, but I thought mine would be from, like, cause I have a YouTube channel, all that stuff. I thought it would be, through that. Never, none of this, right, was on the picture. It was like marriage, prioritize my husband and family. Like, that was it. And if marriage was on the table earlier in my life, like, then would everything that has happened in the past 3 years happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It just wouldn't have been possible. Now, I can say the business could have happened, the podcast could have happened, but the experiences and just my walk with God, like, it just being me and him, there would have never been a chance or opportunity for that to happen. And I didn't really even think about that part until just now. And so I really see how God has orchestrated all of this stuff in my life. And so knowing that, I really have full confidence that I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be straight. And I think that everyone viewing, they can look back over their life and see, okay, I see how God has set all of this stuff up. Like, he's going to continue to set it up. Like, you think he's just going to set you up and just stop right now and just leave you out hanging right now? That don't even make sense. Like, that don't even make sense. And it's just, I look back and it's so many little things, like rooms that I was not supposed to be in, places that I was not supposed to go, but God made a way for me to be there, like, out of no way, literally out of no way. It just was like, boom, like, this had Britley Humphrey's name on it. And so that gives me the confidence that God is going to continue to do that. Like, God really is ordering my steps. He is the author and finisher of my faith. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to doubt. I think with a lot of us singles, it's not really a matter of, I really want to get married, or, like, I'm tired of waiting. It's more the question, am I going to get married? Like, am I even going to get married? Because when we grow up, it was like, God has someone for every person. God has someone for every person. But the reality, I'm sorry. the reality of it is everybody is not going to get married. Marriage isn't for everyone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that hit us like a ton of bricks because we just grew up on the, God is saving someone special for you. Every God has a special person for each person. Like, we literally knew that like clockwork. But now we get older and we're like, why are there like 50 older people in my church single, like that have been single like all their lives? And it's like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? But that just made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, so that's kind of been just amongst like the conversations I've been in with like, some of my friends and people. It's not really I want to get married. Like, it's hard for me to wait. I'm struggling in this waiting season on getting married. It's am I going to get married? Like, is that what God has for me? And my only thing to that is, if you needed it, you would have it. Because you will not lack in any area. If all of your trust is in God and you are relying on him in totality, you will not lack one single thing. So if you needed it, you would have it. So that leads me to think, if God doesn't have marriage in your life, how do you say that? If you are not meant for marriage, or if I'm not meant for marriage, or whatever, I don't know the best way to say that. It sounds very weird to me, but God is going to make it okay for me to live this life without it. I'm not going to be upset crying every day of my life, because at this point you don't want God's will, because if it's God's will for you not to have it and you want the opposite, you're going against God's will. So I feel like God is going to put everything in you that you need. And sometimes it takes a while for us to realize that's what's going on. I know God has changed me so much on the inside. I went through a phase. I can't even say I went through a phase. Like, really my whole life, probably from high school, or yeah, for sure high school to maybe like a couple years ago. So let me do ages, numbers. High school, I was freshman. Okay, we can say for at least 8 years, like high school to 8 years. That would have been me graduating college. I always thought about marriage. Like, every person I dated, I was like, I want to get married. Like, it just always thought. And then some people I dated, I was like, yeah, I know I'm not going to marry you, but like, maybe things can change. Like, it just, that always was constantly playing on. It wasn't until I started getting locked in with God to where I was like, hold on, this thing's serious. Like, oh, it's 4:00. It wasn't until like a couple years ago where I'm like, hold on, it's not just like we doing this for fun. Like, like marriage isn't something we just doing for fun. This thing is for real. And then I saw what God was doing in my life and the things he had told me. And I'm like, I can't just marry anybody and they okay. My future husband may be watching, so I'm gonna tighten up a little bit, just in case you won't hear. Anyway, marriage is very serious, and I hope something was said that helps encourage you, because I can't sit up here and say like you're feeling like, just get over it, like it's gonna happen in God's timing. You know what everybody says, just be patient. God's gonna send you someone. And the people that's saying that, they got married at 20. And it's like, you telling me to be patient and wait when you've been married since you got your driver's license? Like, it's different. It is so different now. But I will say this. Now, this actually may be something a lot of people say, and it's like annoying, but whenever you feel weak, lonely, and not even just in the single area, just in all things, like whenever you feel down, seek God harder. I have learned to turn to God I don't know, like when you feel stressed, how you like go run or something, or just I've learned to turn to God in those things, and like I always feel better. Like, every time that I'm like, like, this sucks. I just turn to God and I literally pray, like, through my frustration, like, through this, like, God, really help me. Like, help, please. And He always does. Like, there hasn't been a time yet where I've turned to God and it's been like, you're on your own. God has always provided, like, that relief. So I would say try that. Try that. What you don't need to try, though, is just talking and communicating with people to temporarily make you feel better, to distract you, to be busy. I was queen of that. Like, I was really good at that. Knowing that this was not my season to get married, like, I knew this. I still would entertain people and entertain, I guess people are the only things you can entertain. Like, entertain it, like, and kind of almost trick myself. And that alone, like, that delays the process because it delays your growth, because you're not growing in that. You actually kind of are going backwards. I wouldn't even say you're staying stagnant. You're going backwards. And so that was something that I thought would not stop, for real, for real. But thank God. Thank God it has stopped, because it's really just a big waste of time. And then you're bringing other people involved, another emotional connection, attachment, or even friendship that maybe was never meant, like, maybe this person was just meant to be a, hey, walking down the street and bye, but you done drug them into your life. You know, yeah. All right. Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you guys for listening to my rant. Let's chop it up in the comments. The video I made about this, comments kind of going in a lot of paragraphs, but I love it. Love the paragraphs. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to stay 10 toes behind Jesus, because He's 10 toes behind you. See y'all in the next video. Bye.
Down. Couldn't believe it until I stood up 10 toes behind.